When I was in 5th grade, I started learning about Brazil's history, about colonization and the lives of enslaved people. And that's when I first realized something important. Everyone deserves a voice. Back then, I was just a kid, but I already knew that silence keeps injustice alive. And that made me wonder, why don't young people have a stronger voice in politics? When people think about teenagers in politics, they often doubt us. They say that we're too immature, that we don't know how the world truly works, or that we are easily influenced. But the truth is, how can we ever learn if no one gives a chance to speak? And adults forget that the only way to form responsible citizens is by letting young people participate. And the numbers actually prove it. In Brazil, official data from the electoral justice shows that only 1% of political party members are 24 or younger. Yet, according to Instituto Polis, more than half of young people say that politics is very important to them. So the problem here isn't lack of interest, it's lack of opportunity. I understood this for the first time in 2022, when I was 13 during the elections. It was the first election that I truly lived, watching the news, watching debates online, and looking for information. That experience opened my eyes, and I started asking myself, are these politicians really prepared? Do they have good plans for the future? And do people truly understand politics? At that time, I also saw something that caught my attention. A report saying that the 2022 election had more young voters than the 2018. And I started thinking, if I, who was looking for information and watching the news, still felt like I didn't know enough, imagine the teenagers that don't know about politics and don't know how to look for information about it. Then I concluded that we also need political education with youth participation. And those things aren't optional, they are necessary. Us teenagers, we care about politics. We discuss in classrooms and in group chats with friends. The problem is that our voices aren't welcome and heard at the places where the decisions are made. In many families, politics isn't even talked about with kids. And that silence teaches us something, that politics is placed as something only for adults. But if adults stop and listen, they will realize that us teenagers, we have real opinions, dreams, and ideas for the world. And those ideas deserve a seat at the table. Think about when a teenager applies for their first job. All the companies ask for experience, but yet no one gains experience without being given a chance. It's the same with politics. We can expect that young people become active citizens if you never let them practice citizenship. Let me ask you, have you ever thought that your child, your friend's child, or even a teenager in your family could be the next leader or president of our country? The world will always change. Every generation brings new challenges, but also new ideas. If you want a future that's fair, peaceful, and honest, we must include our youth in political conversations. And not just as listeners, but as participants, because the teenagers of today are the leaders of tomorrow, and all they need is a chance to be heard. Thank you.